Hello everyone and welcome to the Money Man. Now today I've got something slightly unusual for you, something that I would not normally be interested in or actually collect. However, these items hold a particular significance to me because they actually originate from my own country of birth, and they're actually notes that are used in a very beautiful scenic part of England that is very close to where I actually come from. So they have a little bit of a special significance for me. And I'll try and explain a little bit more about them as I go along. But if you've not seen the title of the video, what I'm talking about is the Lake District Pound. Now, you might be thinking, what on earth is that? Well, first and foremost, this is not legal tender, okay? So there are some notes contained within this folder, and these notes are produced by an organisation that was set up in the Lake District by numerous businesses in order to try and keep tourist money in the area. And by incentivizing people to use these Lake District pounds, what they're hoping to do is basically improve the revenue, the tourist revenue that businesses get in the Lake District. Now, as you probably guessed, you can only use them within the Lake District, and the Lake District is a very beautiful sort of national park area in the north of England. It's got loads of beautiful hills and hiking trails and lakes and rivers and, you name it. It's got beautiful villages with tiny pubs that are really nice and excellent restaurants. It's a very beautiful part of the world, and obviously gets a lot of tourism. So in order to try and keep people spending their money in the Lake District, they incentivize businesses and people to use these Lake District pounds. However, like I said, it's not legal tender. You can't even spend these anywhere in the Lake District. You can only use them within particular businesses that have signed up to the scheme. So you have to be careful about, how you use these and where you use these. So I would say that it's more similar to a voucher rather than a banknote. It's definitely not a banknote. However, they do look similar to banknotes, and you'll sort of see what I mean as I show you the different denominations. They first released this series of notes in 2018, and they also released a series in 2019, which I'll show you guys in a different video if you are interested in this kind of stuff. So without further ado, let's get into it and look at the lowest denomination. And here is the one Lake District pound note. And you can see here that the different banknotes all have the sort of same similar kind of art style. And they do look like fantasy notes because, well, in a way that's kind of what they are. But they do hold a particular value within particular businesses. So it does function like a voucher. And there are terms and conditions that you have to follow in order to actually use these. However, I just bought them for their aesthetic beauty, and I bought them basically to show you guys, what they're about. So you can see that basically the different notes celebrate iconic people from British culture that are associated with the Lake District. But you can see that we've got, this symbol, which is obviously the Lake District pound symbol, not the actual pound sterling symbol, but it is a spin on that actual pound sterling symbol. So they've been quite clever in how they've made the logo, the L and the P, into a sort of quasi pound symbol. It's quite clever, really. And you can see that basically we've got these beautiful, beautiful images here. We've got a young girl, and you can see it says Beatrix, which I believe is Beatrix Potter. Her drawing began in childhood. Her stories came to life in the Lake District. So again, we've got people that are associated with the Lake District celebrated here. And if we spin it around and look at the back, we've basically got, a geographic depiction of some of the peaks in the Lake District. So you've got the Pike of Stickle, and you've got Harrison's Stickle as well. And you can climb up these places, very, very nice. And I like this sort of reflective flower. However, the reverse of these isn't all that interesting. It's very basic and kind of blocky. So I'm not really keen on it, but I do like the vibrant colours. The front of the note's much more interesting. So that's the £1. So let's have a look at the next one, which is the 5 Lake District pound. This is a nice one. Now, if we look here, There's a gentleman on the front called Wainwright. Now, he spent almost all of his life walking the different routes and paths of the Lake District, and he produced several different almanacs and walking guides across his life, which are almost like hiking Bibles for anybody who wants to go walking through the Lake District. You can find the Wainwright walking books in any good bookshops in the UK, and you know they're beautiful, beautiful books because they've usually got illustrations and hand-drawn maps in them. So Wainwright is very, very, very closely associated with the Lake District. So yeah, very, very nice. Spin it around and look at the back again. You can see here that we've got more peaks represented, and you can see their heights and stuff like that. Skiddaw, Little Man, and Carlside. So yeah, if you ever get the chance to go to the Lake District, I would highly recommend it. It's a very, very, very beautiful part of England. And you can see we've got different plants here represented. But yeah, nice. And you can see an interesting thing to note is that you can tell that this is basically like a voucher, valid until 31st of January 2019. So I won't be able to use these anymore. So that makes them pretty much worthless in terms of their actual value, but as a collector piece I think they're quite nice, and I think if these don't survive for very long, they'll become an interesting novelty. Now the next one is the 10 Lake District pound. Here it is, really nice as well, and you can see that basically we've got like fell runners, writers, artists, all celebrated in these different notes, and they've got nice little phrases and quotes from the people that they feature. Very, very nice. Spin it around and look at the back again. Basic, but there are some interesting features like the security feature here of this sort of like reflective area with the raised surface. It's interesting, and they do have braille on as well, which makes them a little bit more user friendly as well. So yeah, pretty nice. Now the next one is the 20 Lake District pound note, and again you can see we've got some prominent characters on the front. I won't go into too much detail about the people represented on the front of the banknotes. Again, you can just you can Google their names and you can find out a little bit more about them. And I did just call them banknotes, which is inaccurate. I do apologise. These are not banknotes. But yeah, you can see that they're really, really nice. There's a nice harmony and sense of nature that flows through them that I think makes the front of the banknotes really, really attractive. However, unfortunately, when we spin it around and look at the back, again, some people may like them. Personally, I don't. But yeah. So, would I advise collecting these? You might be expecting me to say yes, but my opinion is definitely no. Why, do you ask? Well, they're quite expensive. Obviously, you're paying over what is supposed to be face value for these if you want to buy a collector's set like I did. And they're not even useful if you live outside of the UK or if you live outside of the Lake District. And are they going to be an investment that generates a profit? I think absolutely not. For me, I would throw this into the same category as fantasy notes, and I don't collect fantasy notes because personally I think they're garbage. I really do. There are some beautiful designs. I can understand why people collect them. But for me, and for my priorities in collecting fantasy notes, there's just no point. And really for these, if these weren't so closely associated with a place that's really close to my heart, I wouldn't even touch them. And even when I bought them, I did feel a small pang of buyer's remorse because I was like, hey, I've just paid this money for something that's basically worthless. So I would not recommend collecting these if you're looking for any kind of investment return. They're just not worth it. It's just something to collect if you just like the look of them, basically. So yeah, that's what I've got for you today. If you've enjoyed this video, if you found it interesting and a little bit of a break from what I normally do videos on, please let me know in the comments section, because I've got another set right here, which I'm more than happy to show to you guys. They do look different. It's from 2019. There's, as you can see, the same denominations represented. So let me know. I can definitely make a video on that and upload it sooner rather than later. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Go down to the description, you can find a link to my Facebook page where I show all the banknotes that are part of my collection, and I also share news and views from the numismatic community. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye bye for now.